Welcome to your Joyful Riches podcast, where you gain precious tips for easily ignite your full spectrum wealthy life. Join us every Saturday morning at 8:30 a.m. Pacific with your friends and families because we all want and deserve to be healthy, wealthy, and happy. This podcast is done with the G100 Global Networking and is powered by Anchor FM by Spotify. Anchor FM is the super awesome free podcast made easy platform. And for this week, I'm so honored and so thrilled and so grateful to have Michael Clogs with us. Michael, thank you for joining us. Would you care to share with our audience what is it that you do?
Yes. First, it's a pleasure to be here and a great honor, um, e- because I guess it was a couple years ago I interviewed you about, of course, your book, Seeking Peace, and the proven five finger method, um, for you teach it to people for their happiness, and that's who I try to interview people with, especially with our influencer club show, is to interview people about happiness and success and positivity. So
Yeah.
basically I'm a simple journalist looking for those stories about success.
That is so wonderful. Yes, thank you. We met because you reached out to me, and I was like, I was so honored and I was so thrilled and so grateful to be able to share on your platforms. I believe it's called Depiction Media. And so that is so great that you do that, that you are interviewing people, sharing love and positive message. What brought you to do this? What inspired you to do this specifically?
Well, most of the story comes to being bullied as a child, and being told there's just no way, you're too weak, you're too the wrong things of anything to actually succeed. From um, at times my own parents saying that, you times you're just useless, so just go away, and we'll do it ourselves, to having dyslexia in school, and being told that you just can't ever read well enough to even make it anywhere in life. um, and yet I went to university. I hold a few different degrees, and one of them being in chemistry, another being in theology. That, yes, I was able to learn and I was able to succeed, and I do have my own business, like you said, Depictions Media, and we're serving so many people around the world with stories, about either human rights or about positivity, and spreading love around the planet.
Wow, that is so inspiring. That's interesting in a way. We have a similar childhood journey of people telling us that it's impossible to do this and that. And I share from time to time my many people, including my own advisors and professors, would tell me I was too stupid to become a doctor.
And yet, how many people do you help every day? With, not only you wrote a wonderful book, you know, and um, in the inscription in the book, it was so wonderful. May I read that? It says, "Dear Michael, it's such a great pleasure to be a guest on Depictions Media Radio. Thank you, and with gratitude, um, and best regards, Birgitte." It's like so well written, and you help so many people, not just as a doctor, as an oncologist, but with a message of positivity, right?
Yeah, and it is something that in the world that is such a way that so many pain and so many worry and so many grief and losses nowadays. It's definitely something that is so important, but that is also so wonderful that I mean, just the concept of somebody, usually people say it's you can do one or the other, right? You can be like a scientific style, or you can be more of the artistic or abstract style. And you are able to do both, to be holding a degree in chemistry and in theology, which I cannot even conceptualize. And that is, and this is after people told you you will not succeed because you are dyslexic. I mean, I've learned many chemistry and to become a doctor. And I mean, even if you're not dyslexic, it's like, it's a whole new language. And so if you have any challenge, it's just like, that's a whole level above. That is so inspiring.
Well, I guess it was a part of the whole thing is when dyslexia comes in different brands, because while in English I am extremely dyslexic, as you heard me read your inscription in your book, that I stumbled a little bit, but in math as a language, um, it wasn't. It was very fluent to me. It was very easy to read.
Wow.
It was easy to understand how one side should balance with the other side, and how to make it work, um, which surprises people because they most people don't even they say they get stumbled up at algebra and they forget calculus and they're like, how the heck do you move past that into what is what explain the math that explains our actual universe. Well, you've done some of that math in order to be able to put those those chemicals together so that you can shrink a um a tumor, a cancerous tumor, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's not as it's there's yes there's art in medicine that way, but when something that specialized, there's I'm sure there's a lot of math to it,
Mhm.
and it's a language of its own. It's not just a function.
Yeah, and I love what you say. Though, yeah, and it's actually we were required for good reasons to have advanced math and advanced physics, and even though we're not becoming engineers, I remember the four. Many people heard about the three dimensions. There is some such a thing of like the four dimensions physics. I was like, what?
Well,
But like you said, the universe is evolving and moving in such a way that it's actually, as you said just now, it's balance each other and it's kind of like a dynamic thing.
well, it's kind of funny that when I was in university, there were- there was a lot of research being done into cancer, and they had turned to physicists for some of that research. And my one professor, he had this thing up on his whiteboard, and it was a set of equations up there, and there were no numbers. It was all symbolic. And remember looking at the board and just sitting there like drooling. And one of my favorite cartoons is The Far Side, right? It's like, and it said in The Far Side, it's like, oh, I love it when lower life forms try to understand advanced mathematics. But it drove me to understand what was actually going on that board. What what was that board telling me? And what he was actually working on was how to apply ultraviolet light to the chemotherapy so that it would attack certain cells and leave alone other cells so that the person would become healthy again.
Yeah, yeah. And
And
and they do that nowadays. You can sensitize certain cells to become more responsive and spares the healthy one. But that is so wonderful. And at the same time, like you said, it is so beautiful. You mentioned earlier, it's like one, sometimes you can't go you flow well in one way, but if you come through different things, like with reading English, it might be a little bit challenging for some of us, but it's you, it just come in a different way. It's almost, and what you said in a lower life form, it's and different level. It's almost like, well, yes, maybe the common thing is something, it's one thing, but for some people like a genius, that's make me think about a genius actually, because we know some genius, they kind of like look at everyday thing, they're like, what's all these things, and then you give them something that most people cannot comprehend, and they're like, oh, this is where it goes, this is how it flows, this is how it's easy.
right.
And so that's make me think about, how we are simply all different, and sometimes people try to put us in the box, right? You got to be doing this and this, while you're actually like already at this different operating level above. So
Yeah. Well, and that's part of the basic message. Don't let somebody else put you in the box. And it's like find find that maybe that obsession or that path that you are good at. Look for it yourself. Don't let somebody else discourage you. You know, keep looking and you'll find it.
mhm, mhm.
And for those who find these things easy, it's like encourage others to seek their path. Give them words of encouragement. It's so easy to I found this in life that it is easier to and less energy to encourage a person to go down a path towards their own success than it is to discourage them. It takes a lot more energy to tell people that they're useless or worthless than it is to tell them is like you'll find your way and
Right.
then help them find their way. It's
Mhm.
a lot easier.
Yeah, well, with anything in life, when you're going upstream, so to say, whether because you believe somebody has to be in certain way and in your belief, and so going upstreams against them, and a lot of people, as you know, you mentioned, people who learn about their passion, and that's kind of like their calling anyway. So you're going upstreams against nature's calling people to be doing something, but that is so great. I love your program that shares so much positivity and encouragement, and all these things for human rights. And so from I know you've met so many amazing people. Is there one or two tips from all the interview you've done, people that you've met? Is there one or two tips for people, for us, everyone that living in this world, that for some of us it feels like everything is completely upside down and inside out? What are a couple tips that you might be able to share on how to be able to continue to thrive? How could we stay positive besides listening to your program? How could we stay positive and not just get so overwhelmed and depressed by everything's going on in the world?
Well, of course, the first step is to listen to my program, but no, I have to say that, right? Because I had to believe in me.
You're allowed
But
to say that.
but no, all the everything that I have actually everybody that I've interviewed, everybody that I listened to, they all come down to the same thing: is don't give up. Just keep moving forward and keep looking for hope. Keep looking for love, and if you keep looking for it, and I guess that would be tip number two, is if you keep looking for love, you will find love. And if you keep looking for the positive things in life, they'll keep showing up in your life. there's a quantum physics to life, and that quantum physics boils down to that you will actually find exactly what it is that you're looking for. So look for the positivity in life.
That is beautiful. Look for the positivity, and then one place that everyone can find it is definitely in your show. And how do people listen to your show? How do they find you? How do they connect with you? How do they listen to your show?
Well, if you go to depictions.media, and it's real easy to remember, if you can remember Depictions Media, depictions.media, and there's a news blog there where we talk about human rights, and sometimes some of the really mean things that we actually do to each other as human beings, because that does happen, or else we wouldn't have a war in Ukraine, and we wouldn't have refugees trying to escape places like Syria and things. So there's still really mean things that we do to each other, but keep clicking through. Look for in the right hand top right hand corner, click the drop screen, go to the broadcast section, and you'll see where you'll find the podcast for the Influencer Club, which is my favorite show to do. Actually, it is my favorite show to do because I get to if I hadn't done that show, I would have never met you. I would have never met some of the other people that have sent me books and messages about empathy and about love, and that's where you're going to start to find all those people. Um, one of my uh, you were at the top of my list in the top 10, and also one of my other favorites is I interviewed a father and son um, business partners, and the son, he came with this idea to sell socks. He has Down syndrome, and let's put it this way, they have given away millions of dollars
Wow.
because there's a charity attached to this business that sells socks. That's all they do is sell socks around the world.
Wow.
Happy socks, and they've made so much and they've given away millions. So that's telling you something. And if a gentleman or two gentlemen like that can actually find it, look for John's Crazy Socks and in there, and also look for your interview, because that five finger method, it does work until we find the thumbs up, right?
Exactly. And it's also tell everyone in there how to use your middle finger. Don't forget the middle.
Yes.
Everyone who interviews me like hold their breath when I come to the middle finger. Like, do I need to hit the big button? I'm like, no. There is no such a thing.
Yeah.
But thank you so much. Thank you for letting us know and sharing with us about your about program and where to find things in there. And would definitely everyone please look up this crazy happy socks, crazy socks, and contribute to that. And have some fun socks for yourself. Do you have a final message for our audience in this? Any final message navigating life in general?
Final message is basically our company motto, and it's the motto I live by. Everybody has a voice, and everyone should be heard at least for one opinion.
I love that. Everybody has a voice and everyone should be heard. We all want to be heard, and it's good to remember that we do the same thing with others of what we
Yeah.
want. Thank you so much. That is so awesome. Thank you so much, Michael. It's so appreciates I know you have your precious times, and you have a very full schedule. I so appreciate, and I know the Depiction Media reach so many millions and people in so many places. So it's such a great honor to have you here. Thank you so much for sharing about your work and your tips today. And thank you for you, my friends, and who are listening to this. Please share one or two gold nuggets in the comment so we can continue learning from each other and empowering each other. And thank you for joining again today. Please share this podcast with your friends and family so they too can triumph. And this is Dr. Birgitte, your grief transformation specialist for individual and businesses, founder of the International Childhood Cancer Charity, and United States country chair for G100 Global Networking All Ladies League. And you, my friend, make it a thriving day and a thriving life. And I look forward to see you again next week at the same spot at 8:30 a.m. Pacific. Bye bye for now.